What's up everyone, TechCloud here, and in this video I'm going to compare the Sony Xperia Z3 Plus with the Sony Xperia Z3 and let's check out how they stack with each other. The reason why I'm making this video is actually one of my friends actually asked me that why I have bought this Sony Xperia Z3 Plus and what advantages does this device has over the Z3. This actually triggers a thought process, and I wanted to actually figure it out that whether it is worth the upgrade or not. So let's discuss one by one. First, let's discuss the hardware, and as you can see, the main difference on the front is the speaker grill. The Z3 has a speaker grill close to the Sony logo, whereas the Z3 Plus has on the side. Same is the story at the bottom, and the camera and the sensors has switched places on the Z3 Plus as compared to the Z3. On the back side, you can see the camera ring on the Z3 is raised, and whereas on the Z3 Plus you can see the camera ring is flush with the glass and looks like a paint. This will make device sit flush with the table. As you can see, the flash is a little bit further away from the lens, which will help in any flaring issues. Another thing worth mentioning is the raised lips of the side bezels, which will help actually to grip the device better, and also it will not slide down from the table, and Z3 does that all the time. But as a result, the in-hand field has suffered quite a lot, and you will find the edges are sharper. On the left hand side, you can see the dedicated charging port is available on the Z3, where the Z3 Plus does not have that port. The Z3 Plus has the flap to cover the MicroSD card slot and the Nano-SIM. Whereas on the Sony Xperia Z3, this particular flap and the ports are on the other side, as you can see over here. On the Z3, the micro USB port is covered under the flap, as you can see over here, whereas the micro USB port is at the bottom on the Z3 Plus, which is actually very nice, and I particularly like this one about the Z3 Plus, because it is very inconvenient to open the flap every time if you want to access the port. As I discussed earlier, the Z3 has the micro SIM and the SD card slot on this particular side, whereas the Z3 Plus does not have any port on this particular side. And the power and the volume rocker are very similar, whereas the distance and the location is slightly different, as you can see over here. And the volume rocker is slightly thinner on the Z3 Plus as compared to the Z3, because the device is slightly thinner. The camera shutter button is located at the same spot. The device corners on the Z3 Plus has transparent plastic, and they are more shinier as compared to the Z3. On the top, the headphone jacks are located at the same position, whereas the noise cancelling mic or the secondary mic is located at different locations. Both the Z3 and the Z3 Plus has a 5.2-inch screen, and the reds are more richer on the Z3 Plus, which is a good news since the reds were more like pink on the Z3. And the screen is also a little bit warmer on the Z3 Plus, which means the better flesh or better skin tones. And once again, you can see the reds are better, and the skin tones you can see is more toward the warmer and the natural side, whereas the skin tones were pinkish on the Z3. It is still not the most accurate screen on the market, but it is much better than before. I never liked the pinkish whites and the skin tones on the Z3. The disappointing fact about the Z3 Plus screen is that it is slightly less brighter than the Z3, and also the contrast ratio is slightly lower than the Z3. Having said that, it is not actually bad, and still pretty much in line with most of the flagship in 2015. Camera is another disappointment about the Z3 Plus. The camera is actually not bad at all. It is a pretty good camera, but considering the camera of the Z3, it is not a big improvement. It has the same sensor, however the software processing is little bit better and produce little bit better images, but not much noticeable. I do not like the Sony interface for the camera, and it do weird things. For example, on the Z3, if you turn on the image stabilization and change the ISO, it will turn off the image stabilization. That's kind of weird. Disappointingly, the Z3 Plus has one leg up on the Z3 in that front as well. And if you change the image resolution from 8 megapixel to 15 or 20 megapixel, then you cannot change the ISO. That's really weird and totally unheard of. There are a couple of new camera effects, as you can see on your screen, but I'm not too fond of the camera effect, so I'm not going to talk about those. These are just gimmick, and you can install more from the Play Store, and the list is pretty similar on both devices. Sony Xperia Z3 is pretty well known for the heating issues when you are using the camera. The Z3 Plus has one leg up over here as well. As you can see, I'm using both devices very similarly, and the Z3 Plus is showing the temperature warning much earlier than the Z3. If you are considering the Z3 Plus, then be prepared for the heating issues while using the camera and playing games. If you compare the Z3 and Z3 Plus pictures side by side, the first thing that you will notice that the pictures are a little bit warmer on the Z3 Plus. If you go into 100% view and analyze the photos, you will find that the Z3 Plus photos are a lot cleaner than the Z3. That's because of the software processing. The Sony is doing a lot more noise reduction on the Z3 Plus photos, but most of the time actually the detail does not suffer as a result. On few occasions I have noticed that the detail has a little bit suffered because of the noise reduction. Such kind of processing actually has made the grain on the Z3 Plus less organic. It is very unfortunate that the photos taken in the superior auto mode still cannot compete with the competition. Even the 8 megapixel camera with the superior image processing can easily beat the pictures on Z3 Plus taken in the superior auto mode. I have shown this example just to give you the taste. The full review of the Z3 and the Z3 Plus camera is coming in couple of days. Lack of OIS is a big problem for the low light performance, and a good camera with OIS can actually shoot this particular shot in ISO 80 or ISO 100, whereas the Z3 Plus has taken this shot in ISO 800. Same is the case on Z3, which will obviously degrade the quality of the image. Although the Z3 has the older 801 processor, but in general use both devices feel pretty snappy and up to the par. Having said that, the Z3 Plus is a little bit faster in loading apps and refreshing the contents from internet. When it comes to the gaming, actually the difference is pretty clear, and the Z3 Plus destroys the Sony Xperia Z3, which is not surprising considering the S801 processor in the Sony Xperia Z3 is pretty old. You will say that it is not pretty old, it is from the last year, but considering the fact that when the Z3 was launched, everybody was moved to a new processor, the S805. However, the Sony decided to release the mobile with the 801 instead. Sony always, I don't know, for some reason, release their devices with older processors. But in case of Z3 Plus, they have released the phone with the pretty much up-to-date processor, although it has the heating issues. As you can see, the S810 provides excellent gaming performance on the Z3 Plus. Considering it is just a 1080p screen, it is able to handle the new games pretty well, as well as some of the older demanding games. But it has some heating issues, so if you are living in a colder environments, it might not be an issue for you. Or if you are using the phone mostly indoor in the AC, it will not be a big issue for you. However, if you live in the warmer climates, then overheating is a major problem with the Z3 Plus. And I will not recommend anyone from the hotter climates to go for the Z3 Plus or phones with the Snapdragon 810. Another thing the Z3 Plus will have over the Z3 will be the faster updates, because it is the newer flagship, so it will get the updates much faster than the older Z3. And while filming this video, I got another update. Sound is another major disappointment about the Z3 Plus, because the Z3 Plus sound is not only more muffled, but also the volume is not as high as the Z3, which is pretty disappointing, because the Z3 is never considered the gold standard in terms of audio, because the Z3 was also having a pretty muted sound as compared to other flagship devices. And considering the Z3 Plus is even having lower volume and less fuller sound than the Z3 is pretty disappointing. It is not easy to show the difference on the YouTube, but believe me, the difference is pretty clear, and the Z3 Plus does not have very good sound. Even the quality coming out of the headphones is not as good as the Z3. So guys, this was a quick comparison between the Sony Xperia Z3 Plus and the Z3, and just to tell you whether Z3 Plus is a worthy upgrade over the Z3. And from this discussion you can clearly see that the Z3 Plus is not a good enough upgrade over the existing Z3. So if you are currently an owner of the Z3, no need to upgrade and you are not missing much. This is pretty sad and disappointing, because when I think about Sony, I think about innovation. I think about the company which bring a Walkman, the CD player and the PlayStation for everyone, and the company which is breaking new boundaries of the mirrorless cameras, such as the Sony Xperia, such as the Sony A7R II and Sony A7S. And the same company has such a terrible mobile division which lacks the innovation and does not show any signs of improvement over the predecessor, and same thing happened over and over. Z2 was the only device actually I ever liked coming out of the Sony, and it is very disappointing to see that after the 2 iteration I have not seen a better device coming out of Sony. So guys, I hope that you have liked the video. Thanks for watching, and subscribe for more videos like that. Take care and stay tuned for more coverage on the Sony Xperia Z3 Plus and other newer devices such as the LG G3, the Huawei P8 and the Asus Zenfone 2, and also the watches such as the Apple Watch and the LG Watch Urbane. Take care, see you, bye.